What's good, LL Nation? Coach Leak back in the house, along with your boy Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics.
That's right.
There's a lot of narratives coming out of this game on Saturday. We
What's
are
up?
brought to you by Onora Whisky at NoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey at NoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, make sure that you drink responsibly.
Responsibly. That's right. I thought you was gonna drop it.
Ah.
I was like, responsible. Okay.
a lot of emotions surrounding this game, coming out of this game. We talked about a lot of things that we thought would happen that I think we both are surprised that didn't happen. A lot of overreaction. What's the first thing that you want to talk about? Because I'm going to get to Coach Freeman and a couple of things that he said after the game. One thing that he said in particular that is troublesome, but I understand in context. I think I understand in context a lot more today than when I originally heard it on Saturday night.
Man, the first thing I think about is everything that Marcus Freeman was able to do in the off season and had a hand in the off season. That first game, it looked exactly like it. We were coached really well on defense, except we gave up maybe one or two plays we wish we could have gave back. We kind of bailed them out. Like, they was gonna miss it anyway, and we bailed them out. So other than two bailout calls against a team that's averaging 50 plus points a game, to have a team like that, 7 points up until late in the third quarter, with a first year head coach, with all the things included, what he did in the offseason from a recruiting mindset, got the players ready to play, competitive guys on the coaching staff all together. Defensively, it looked really good. By all metrics, you hold an Ohio State team to 21 points, you're supposed to come out of that game on top. Maybe if we had a North Carolina offense that's putting up 69, maybe half of the points they had, we should have come out on that game on top and put the little 10 back in the corner it should be. But everything that Marcus Freeman didn't have a hand in coming into the MF era, being the head coach at Notre Dame, it showed greatly. It showed greatly. And it reminded a lot of what we felt like we got rid of. So I am happy with, in context, what Marcus Freeman was able to do of what he could control. Things that he can't control, I'm not surprised. So that's how I'm feeling. Which is why I said certain so ones and so people are on the hot seat before this game even came, before the disappointment even set in, before I was almost tricked into thinking that maybe it affected and rubbed off on that guy. I told you it was on the hot seat. I told you the expectations of a top 5 scoring offense, and a top quarterback. I hate watching games where we lose the game, don't score any points, and we sit there and say, well, the quarterback didn't play bad. The quarterback didn't play bad, and we lost the game with only scoring 7 points. That's terrible. That's an indictment. That's an indictment because it goes against, and that's why I specifically said a top 5 scoring offense, not top in yards, not top in first downs, top 5 scoring offense, and a first-round quarterback. Tyler Buckner wasn't even able to play like a first-round quarterback. At least they put the ball in CJ's hands. At least Ohio State realized their first-round quarterback, we're going to ride or die or slide. He didn't play perfect, which I felt like they needed to because I felt the run game was going to be supported, which it was most of the game, which it was. But at least Ohio State went with the guy they know can win a game. We just didn't even give the guy a chance. It's like we were the little kid in school that was getting bullied, and then one day we just smacked the shit out of the bully. Shocked everybody. Everybody's looking like, oh my God, can't believe. We couldn't even believe we was doing it. And after we smacked him, had nothing to back it up. Had nothing to back it up. We came out, was like, I'm sick of this, sick of these narratives, sick of this saying we're going to get blown out. And the bully thought he was going to do something. We smacked the shit out of him. Everybody looking shocked. Everybody, Ice Cube Debo moment. Except Ice Cube had a second half in him. We didn't. We didn't have that second half in us. But it's not surprising.
Lucky Lefty podcast, Marcus Freeman, after the game with his thoughts on his team's inability to finish games.
One, yeah, you want to say it's a mindset, but you got to go back and look and say, okay, where weren't we able to execute offensively, defensively, and special teams? Late in the game, you know, we had some 3 and outs, had an offensive pass interference call, you know, late in the game. You know, defensively, again, I just said 4 big plays running the ball. We have to stop the running. Late in the game, we knew they were running, we weren't able to stop it. And that's someplace that we have to improve that. But again, I'm proud of those guys because they fought the territory.
Now, this goes back to what Marcus Freeman has said is the identity of this team since he took over as head coach, their ability to run the ball and stop the run. We lamented the defense's inability to get under 100 yards per game in defense against the rush and how that was needed to take the next step. It's the difference in the game. Look, man, I don't know what everybody else said, but I know what podcast said Notre Dame was going to be in this game in the fourth quarter. And Notre Dame is going to have possession to take the lead in the fourth quarter.
We said that.
We said it for a month.
We said that.
We said it for a month. And we called out all of the big-time players.
All of them.
Said this isn't on the freshmen. This isn't on the sophomores. This is on Tyler Buckner, Lorenzo Styles, Michael Mayer. Make a play. Make a play. Defense, Adamiola, Foskey, Brandon Joseph, make a play. The opportunity is going to be there in the fourth quarter. Make a play. We said this for 2 weeks. All that talk about 17 and a half points. Ohio State's going to score 40 points. We told you for a month that's not happening. That's not happening. When LL Nation and Indian fans said, I don't know about the secondary. I don't know how we're going to hold up. It was this podcast that said, don't worry. We said Tariq Bracy's no ball. Wait a minute. Who told you about Mickey and Morrison? In the first game, we didn't say wait. Who told you that Mickey and Morrison in game 1 would make an impact?
That's right.
We did. It's not the same.
We should be on the coaching staff. We should be on the coaching staff.
It's not the same secondary. And just as impactful as Jim Knowles, shout out to Jim Knowles and what he was able to do with this defense, Al Golden was just as impactful.
Just as impactful. Maybe even more. Maybe even more.
Defense.
Maybe because, let's be honest, Jim Knowles didn't have that hard of a time second half.
Explain.
Jim Knowles didn't have that hard of a time because we didn't even try it. We didn't press the gas at all second half. We were in great field position, which Ohio State's great special teams was. We've mentioned having our special teams needing to be better. But what Al Golden was able to put together against a team that everybody, I'm talking about everybody, was saying how we were just going to be so inadequate, so porous in the secondary. That's the challenge. What did Jim Knowles go in expecting? Jim Knowles went in there expecting, okay, they're not throwing it 60 times. So I'm going to just put in what I did in Oklahoma State to stop the run. And eventually they'll give up. Eventually the quarterback's going to make plays on my team. So I just got to make you give up early.
Mm-hmm.
And being on great teams with great quarterbacks, they'll win it late. You're not going to try me over the top, so I'm going to just be very stout. I'm going to give you everything that you've been getting for years and years and years and years. You guys are going to make me look so much better. So what was the harder challenge? Stopping a first-round quarterback with the expectation that he is going to score 50 points on you no matter what. No matter that they lost all their first-round receivers the year before, no matter how young the receivers are that he got now, no matter how inexperienced the O-line and the offensive running game was, no matter all of those factors, people still thought he was going to put up 50 points. So what's the harder challenge? What's the harder challenge? I'm sick of hearing about, oh, they got these receivers. 7 points. With mostly the same players from last year. So you saw dominance and development. I specifically saw Clarence Lewis make some plays. Specifically.
Look much better.
Look much better.
Look much better.
I can't even say he's on sale. He's on clearance out there. He's out there, inflation. Prices went up.
Yeah.
He ain't on sale no more over there.
Yeah, D-Rock Irish said loaded the box and TR kept trying to run the ball. No offensive identity. We can, it's a lot of shade. You mentioned it. And I understand why people feel a certain way about Tommy Rees after this matchup. I would like to submit this. And this is why people make narratives and say things and they give no context, right? You hear people say, and this is from the reporter that covers Notre Dame for The Athletic. His story and his tweet for his story after the game was something to the effect of Notre Dame proves it can compete, but Ohio State just has better players. And I laughed, right? Because this is the ignorance of people, right? His statement was off because he put players in it. If he had just said no, Ohio State has a better player, I would have understood the context. And this is what I mean. Whether it's Georgia or Alabama or Clemson recently, when Notre Dame has faced them in big games, the biggest difference has been that the teams they faced have had the better quarterback. We're going to keep it a buck. If C.J. Stroud was on Notre Dame and Tyler Buchner was on Ohio State with all of that talent, Ohio State, Notre Dame would have beat the hell out of Ohio State.
Yes.
You said it.
Yes.
You said make C.J. Stroud have to beat you. He has to be perfect. And he wasn't perfect for 2.5 quarters, but God dang it, that dude was perfect in the fourth. Perfect in the fourth. That dude was throwing balls. Good. And shout out to his receivers for making the receptions as well. Let me tell you something, man. That's what it comes down to. Big time games, the best player makes a play. Yeah. Their best player made a play. When we faced Clemson, they had the better quarterback. When we faced Alabama, they had the better quarterback. That's the difference. That's why Clemson was able to beat Alabama when Alabama supposedly had more talent. Clemson had the better quarterback. And until Notre Dame, whether development of the current quarterbacks or recruiting and bringing in the next great quarterback, they're going to struggle to take the next step in big-time games until they go into that matchup with the better player, best player, and the best quarterback. It's just flat out. Saturday night, we can go X's and O's, blame Tommy Rees, blame the double fire blitz. Why blitz when Tariq Bracy, who balled out? Yeah, people not going to like this, go watch the first quarter, right? He didn't just ball out because Jackson Smith and Jigba got hurt. He was locking that dude up in the first quarter. And who told you Tariq Bracy was coming to play? Who told you that? Yeah, but we don't have anybody in the secondary.
Yeah.
But I digress. Once again, and this is not an indictment of Tyler Butler. It's not. It's not.
He didn't play bad. It's just
not.
like it was just like nobody cared to watch it.
First start on the road and putting them in position to I'll say this, and then as the quarterback, I'll give this to you. The problem at Notre Dame has been, as evidenced by Jaden Daniels' performance last night in the second half when they got down. Like, when he has to go by the book of what the preparation was with Mike Denbrock and Brian Kelly, it was a problem. When they got behind and he had to depend on his athletic ability and just play football, you saw the type of quarterback he could be. Right? The game plan handcuffed, in my opinion, Tyler Buckner so much. It's like you didn't give him the opportunity to just go play. Just go play. Go play. Depend upon the run game. If the run game doesn't work, man, take your chances. Take your shots. They took a shot with Brake. Shout out to Braden Lindsey. I believe you, bro.
I believe you.
You got release packages.
That's right.
I believe you. I believe you now.
I believe it.
I won't say anything else about Braden Lindsey. You have release packages, right? When we're using Michael Mayer on quick screens and not allowing him to threaten the middle of the field, when they have 9 people in the box, that's play calling. But Tyler Buckner's issue, I'll use one play. Probably the most important play of the night, right? As I said this earlier, it's amazing how people tell their teams, that coaches tell their teams to play a full 60 minutes, full 48 minutes, right? High school's 48, college, pros, 60. Play the full 60. And it's amazing how games come down to 3 to 5 plays in which teams execute in those 3 to 5 plays. It's amazing, right? Play the full 60, but this game is going to come down to 3 to 5 plays. Those 3 to 5 plays, Ohio State made plays. Notre Dame did. Let's go to fourth quarter. They just took the lead 14-10. Notre Dame moves the ball. You know, Notre Dame was in Ohio State territory offensively because people were like, Notre Dame's offense didn't do anything. Notre Dame was in Ohio State's territory 7 times. 7 times on Saturday night. 7.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. 7 times. And you had 10 points. That's ridiculous. You talking about that's horrible efficiency offensively. It goes to play calling. But we go to fourth quarter. They move into the territory. They get to the Ohio State 35. No. Because they got moved back to the 46 after the pass interference. So I think they're at like the 34, 35, something like that. They go 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. They have Matt Salerno in the game. We're definitely going to get to that. We're definitely going to get to that. Clutch time in the fourth quarter, and your 2 receivers are Matt Salerno and Braden Lindsey. We got to talk about that. We have to talk about that.
In there with freaking Frat.
They bring Matt Salerno across the formation. Dude, Jim Knowles has 0 safeties back. 0. 10 players. No, I'm sorry. 9 players on their defense within 8 yards.
It felt like 10. It felt like 10.
9.
Like 10.
Denzel Burke, who has been beat twice already, and we just missed a touchdown because we overthrew Lorenzo Styles when Lorenzo Styles had him by about 4 yards, easily. He's outside with Braden Lindsey, one-on-one. Malik, if that's you and Will Fuller back in the day, how fast are you tapping your helmet?
It's a good night, man.
How fast? Yo, I don't care what the play call is.
But that's being handcuffed. That's being handcuffed.
And you mean to tell me your choice in that situation is to go to Matt Salerno instead of Braden Lindsey? Look, man, I don't know where the blame lies, but that can't happen. That can't happen. That ball has to go to Braden Lindsey. Has to. That ball has to go to Michael Mayer on a play action or something. Like those are the top 2 options. Mayer, Lindsey, out of the players that are on the field. And we throw the ball to Matt Salerno.
It's just a bad precedent. Is Matt Salerno better than Tobias Merriweather? Is Matt Salerno better than Joe Wilkins and Jaden Thomas and Deion Cosley? And
well, Cosley and Wilkins were still recovering from injuries.
Right.
Cosley was out there with a knee brace, and I kind of figured that he wouldn't really be ready to go. But Lorenzo Styles Jr. was on the sideline, dude. I can't. Fourth quarter, you need to play. Why is he on the sideline? Why is he only targeted 2 times in the game? After having 1 catch for 54 yards on the first play of the game. This is my struggle. So you know what I came up with as I calmed down? When I calmed down and I thought about it last night, I said to myself, Tyler Buckner needs somebody to sit him down and do for him what Phil Jackson did for Michael Jordan. Follow me here, bro. Follow me here. It's no secret that Michael Jordan could be considered somewhat of a gun.
Somewhat.
Early on. And it wasn't so much that he was a gun, it's that the people around him stunk. The Brad Sellers, the Orlando Wardges, a 40-year-old George Gervin, Granville Waiters. Do I need to continue? And when you're a competitor and you want to win and you know that your support system really isn't that good, you kind of depend on yourself. Like, I trust myself. Like, all the options, I trust myself.
That's right.
I think Tyler Buckner has a little bit of that in him. And when it comes to having multiple options and RPOs and all of that stuff, and we saw it a couple of times in the game where he had Chris Tyree sprinting out the backfield as a screen option, man-to-man. He chose other things. He chose to run the quarterback draw instead of getting the ball to your playmakers.
The quarterback draw killed me.
Someone needs to sit him down and say, dude, this isn't high school anymore. You don't walk on the field and you're just the best player in the field and you just dominate.
There he went again, running hard as hell.
It's like, dude, that's not what it is. Your job is to get the ball to the playmakers.
Yes.
Every down.
That's your
Every down, right? Let's go to the first drive. 54-yard reception and run by Lorenzo Styles. We get down there, and then we run your boy, Aldrich estimate for 4 yards on first down.
Good run, too.
They come back on second down with Logan Diggs in the backfield, why is Logan Diggs in the game?
That fast.
You just got 4 yards from that battering ram, and you take him out the game. This is where you can go ahead and you can say what you need to say about Tom. You can go right ahead because I'm trying. What are we doing? What are we doing? Let's go to third down because the play that they ran on second down, they had Lorenzo Styles coming in motion as if he was doing a crackback block, and they hiked the ball at the wrong time, and the play gets blown up. Now
we're being so cute.
Now it's 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9. They flex Chris Tyree out the backfield again. Michael Mayer is in the slot, 3rd and 9. No safeties in the middle. 1-on-1. You know what Tyler Buckner did? He ran the quarterback draw. This is what I'm saying, man. And this, look, a conversation needs to be had. Like, I don't know who you were in high school, but you got the number 1 tight end in the nation. You got Braden Lindsey with his new release packages.
Who showed up.
And your boy Lorenzo Styles, the first play of the game, put in work. And you still trust yourself on 3rd and 9 with a 7-8 man box? Like, what do we have the conversation? Let the young man know you don't have to win these games. You don't. Am I surprised? Did I not say this is going to be a great game and both teams are going to play well? Did I not say that? I thought it was going to be an early candidate for game of the year. I thought it was going to go down to the last.
Man, he wasn't even the most exciting game of the weekend.
Hey. And I'm looking at this, and you have a mixture of poor execution, poor play calling, and a quarterback, for some reason, that forgot to get the ball to his best players in key moments. So, ladies and gentlemen, for me, what I walked away with is, gosh darn it, we just going to have to get a quarterback. Because until we walk into a big game with a big-time quarterback, it's not changing. It's not changing. It's not changing at all. It's not changing at all. And that's why I laugh.
Who was the last big-time quarterback in Notre Dame? Answer this question.
That's subjective, bro. There is no slam dunk. There is no slam dunk answer.
You're saying there's guys that's won big games, but who's been the last big game winner for Notre Dame when it mattered? That's the question.
Are you talking about, we've had guys that won big games, but you're talking about C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young level? Like the feeling they give your program? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the win that's going to push us over.
You know what? It would have to be Brady. It would have to be Brady. Because when Brady got the ball in 2005 against USC, down 4 with 79 yards to go, you felt like, oh, we're good. We're good. And he marched right down the field and scored. Notre Dame just couldn't keep Matt Leinart and that crew out of the end zone.
Yeah.
So it has to be Brady Quinn. It has to be Brady Quinn.
That's your answer.
And that's your answer. And that's really where we're at. You know? Like, so look, man, football is real simple. Whether it's high school.
But they would have never, I'd rather have had Jack Cohn in this game yesterday than Tyler Buckner.
I don't know. Not the way the offensive line, the way Josh Lugg was pass pro. Dude, Jack Cohn might have get killed. He might have been killed.
He
But
had
I tell
500
you what,
yards on this
I
defensive
tell
structure.
you what, you're right. Jack Cohn would have known what to check to.
Jack Cohn would have
see what you're
had
saying.
50 attempts.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I don't know.
Tommy is more comfortable with less dynamic quarterbacks, clearly.
Yeah.
He would have threw the ball against Ohio State 50 times. More than CJ would have. He would have threw the ball more than CJ in that game. I'm convinced you can't tell me different. With Jack Cohn. Tommy couldn't find pass plays he felt comfortable with Tyler Buckner to throw the ball more than 20 times. Because how do you put up 500 yards of offense against a better defense than what we went against last night? Oklahoma State's defense we played in Fiesta Bowl was way better than Ohio State's defense in this game.
I don't know about that, dog.
Way better.
I don't know about that. You said that defense was better?
The Oklahoma State defense was better because we only made it close because we played aggressive. We didn't play aggressive against Ohio State, so you can't give them the credit of, they just shut us down. We didn't give them nothing. We threw the ball twice to Lorenzo Styles. That's not 30% of the workload. We threw the ball once to Lindsey. We didn't throw the ball past 20 yards outside of twice, and we did it on the same drive back-to-back plays. Wide open. Back-to-back plays was the only 2 times we threw the ball past 20 yards. The first play of the game, the pass was only a 5-yard hitch route. So you can't count that one.
Yeah.
I told you he needed 7 to 8. He got 2. 2 opportunities, not even two completions, 2 opportunities. So how are we giving Ohio State all this credit? How?
Yeah.
Against Oklahoma State, we opened up what we knew we could do with worse receivers from a technical standpoint. We threw the ball to Lindsey 15 times in that game.
Yeah.
We targeted Lindsey 15 times
Yeah.
with no release packages, with no technique, with no speed. He didn't know how to use his speed at that point. And target him 15 times. How does that happen? Kevin Austin only could run 2 or 3 routes. Got targeted how many times? Lorenzo Styles had more attempts in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? So I'm not believing this whole Ohio State did anything.
I'll disagree. I'll disagree a little bit, but I will agree with the fact that I don't think they got challenged. I don't think
we challenged Ohio State's offense.
I don't think they were challenged at all.
We challenged Ohio State's offense. Ohio State's offense was challenged.
From a schematic standpoint, from a play calling standpoint, from just creatively, I don't think they were challenged. Right? They just weren't.
If it wasn't for the first play,
comments, I thank Jake for tapping in. And
if it wasn't for the first play of the game, will we even be in position to score 7?
Yeah.
And that was a blown tackle. He just tried to go for it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that first play of the game, we probably wouldn't have scored.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it real.
And for those of you, look, this isn't Tyler Buckner slander. The stuff we pointed out is football quarterback 101. It's 101. That's a problem. If you can't identify Braden Lindsey with 0 coverage, 1-on-1 on 3rd down or 1st down, that's a problem.
What does it say about your quarterback?
That has nothing to do with the play call. Look, my best player is out there 1-on-1. As a quarterback, you tap your helmet.
Teams have been playing us the same for how long? Since 2014? Stack the box and play man. Teams have been doing that same thing against Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy, they did it against you.
You know.
And what did we do when Tommy played and they did that against Tommy? We threw it to Eifert on the outside.
I will say this. I thought Tommy had some good play calls.
Yes, we know Tommy can design some shit up. But that's why I
He
kept
has to
telling you
play
it's
call.
not about that. It's about scoring offense. That's why I kept being specific. It's about scoring offense.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that shit.
Not
If you can't put up
yards.
no points.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. I'm
Yeah.
not letting you get away with that. Yes, we had a bunch of beautiful plays.
Yeah.
Of course. Your beautiful plays should have been the touchdown plays in the 7 times we was in the red zone.
Yeah.
Them the plays I want to be like, damn, you schemed it up, Tommy.
Yeah.
You telling me Utah got a better offense than we do? You telling me Michigan got a better offense than we do? How? We targeted Lindsey
at this
15
point.
times.
No, at this point, because of recruiting and coaching that has been there, Michigan has a better offensive line than Notre Dame. Right now. They won the Joe Moore Award last year. They were a finalist the year before, and they've had the same coach for 4 years. So, yes, Michigan has a better offensive line as far as execution than Notre Dame right now. Give Notre Dame and Harry Hiestand a full season, that might not be the case. But we still see residue from Coach Quinn when you look at the way that offensive line. And look, let me tell you something. Josh Love, the name of the show today is Halfway Crooks. Because Mobb Deep said ain't no such thing as halfway crooks, right? You can't go in and win big games doing it halfway, trying to hold on. Either you all in or you not. And Saturday night, Notre Dame walked in halfway. Marcus Freeman talked about it. It felt like we were trying to hold on. Hold on? You wait a minute. This is where I'm confused. Because the Notre Dame players talked all summer about believing. So why all of a sudden when you're up 10-7, 13 seconds or 20 seconds before the third quarter ends, why are you surprised?
We were more confident than they was.
Why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? And for me, I didn't understand. I didn't understand.
I told you, we smacked the bully and couldn't believe we even did that.
You can't move into someone else's territory 6 times and only have 10 points. You can't do that. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And in speaking of unacceptable, man, woo, I was already feeling a certain type of way. Then I'm listening to the post game, and Marcus Freeman is asked about what is it going to take? What was his second half adjustments or thoughts coming out for the second half? And this is what he told the media.
Offensively, the same thing. Do not turn the ball over. Right? Take care of the football. Try to continue to run the ball vertically and create some misdirection and shots like we did in the first half. And we were doing a good job. I thought the one drive in the second half, probably the first or second drive in the second half, I told Tom we did a really good job milking the clock. We ended up punting the ball, and I was pleased with that. But then all of a sudden, their offense goes out and scores, and then now you're down. And so we did a good job milking the clock. We ended up punting the ball, and I was pleased with that. We did a really good job milking the clock. We ended up punting the ball, and I was pleased with it.
What? Say what? Say what? You punted the ball and you were pleased with that? Now,
milking the clock?
Look,
we're not Navy. We're not Navy.
That almost
milk the clock.
that almost took me there, but then I took a step back and I said maybe he was sharing. Maybe he was sharing his communication with Tommy, right? And this is what I'm thinking. Maybe he's saying this is what he told Tommy. Maybe Tommy was in the headset, getting upset, and Marcus told him, it's cool. It's cool. We moved the ball. We punted it, but it's cool. Don't worry about it. We'll get another opportunity. And maybe he's relaying what he told Tommy but you can't say that publicly. You, not this fan base, not this Notre Dame fan base. You can't tell this Notre Dame fan base that has suffered through big game Brian Kelly.
Yeah, who had a big game last night.
You can't tell them you moved the ball, punted, and you were pleased with that. You can't say that publicly. You can't. You cannot say that publicly.
Because what do you think is going to happen? You think you're going to milk it and punt it in what? It's the best team it's the best offense in the country damn near. What are you milking? Why are you excited to punt? That's not even a winning strategy. Do you realize you got to score to win? We're not the 2000 Ravens. We played a little bit like it, but you still got to score. What are you milking? What are you milking? Cows? Why are you milking the clock?
Dude, you're not winning a championship playing field position. This is not the 80s, bro.
What the
no. Once you get into the enemy's territory, get aggressive and put up points. If I'm sitting at the 39 of Ohio State, I'm not pleased with punting.
I might even go for it on 4.
And like I said, in context, he might have shared too much information as a new head coach.
Yeah, he talking to.
Maybe he shared, yo.
That's what you tell your wife when you lay down.
I told Tommy, because he said, I told Tommy. So this is conversation he's having with Tommy on the headset.
You keep that at home, man.
Tommy gets upset with whatever transpired. They have to punt, and he's calming Tommy down, saying, yo.
Calming Tommy down.
It's cool.
We had Ohio State calming our offensive coordinator.
Man. You got
really. You flying all the way across the country, doing these interviews, and we gotta calm you down. You're supposed to be in the moment. You're supposed to be locked in.
Yo,
you're supposed to be like, Coach Freeman, I got this, bro. We finna dial it up. I've been waiting all off season, preparing all game, all this off season to milk the clock.
Yo.
Right.
Now to answer the question. Marcus Freeman, look, as he said, you have to learn how to finish games. One thing that has been solved in Notre Dame is I don't think anymore Notre Dame will come out flat in big games.
And we knew that Fiesta Bowl.
And preparation. I think preparation has been solved. I think coming out with intensity has been solved.
I think team speed has been solved.
No, bro, we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about these linebackers in a few minutes.
I'm saying it's on the team. We ain't using it, though.
Oh, okay. Mike Mickens used it. Mike Mickens used it. He didn't have a problem with it.
He probably challenged some guys in the room. He was like, we're not finna let Ohio State do this, that, and the third. We're just not going to let it happen. And we all going to get in on it. That's a strong group. We all going to get in on it. We ain't finna let none of that. You see what they say in the paper? 50 points on us. They said Mike Mickens took it personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had them boys playing right. Even when they was trying Cam Hart, he had a little hamstring on him. Without that Cam Hart drive, what is Ohio State really doing?
Yo, I'm with Drunk Vigo. We had Mayer, Styles, Cozy was injured. He had the heavy knee brace on in pregame. He's not all the way back. So we had Mayer, Styles, Lindsey, Tyree, Estimate, Diggs, Buckner to put up 10 points. I couldn't disagree with you more. I could not. And it's a mixture of poor execution, poor play calling, and quarterback decision making. Flat out.
Just inept.
Flat out.
Just inept.
Man, Lucky Lefty podcast. So your overall thoughts for you feel like Tommy Rees is under the microscope, huh?
I'm not surprised. I mentioned this before the season started. I wasn't giving him no breaks because of stuff like this. Why are you preparing on off season to milk a clock against a game where you know you need to score? I mean, you either didn't have belief in the defense that if you opened up, they could cover for you, or you felt too comfortable with the defense to where you felt like if I just backseat ride this thing, we might get a field goal to win. Because I don't. And then Marcus Freeman I would like for you to nip it in the bud. If we go another game looking like this, you got to do something. Perfect example was at Florida. Crashed and burned in first 3 games.
Mm.
Coach McElwain's a great offensive coordinator. Didn't step in at one point. Not at all.
Mm.
And as a result, you get fired in the middle of the season because you just wouldn't take over when you should. Should have started me. Shit.
Mm.
What happened? We lose, gets fired. I started. We end up doing well. So it's like you have a chance to be honest with yourself and be like, I know the offense was trash. I don't want to sugarcoat it because they're not going to sugarcoat what they say about me going in there putting up 10 points. I think Tommy's big boy enough, especially from the fact that he came with the house. You know, when the last time you can get a house and a wife all in one?
Yeah.
That only happens in other countries. So with an arranged marriage like this,
that it is, that it was.
put the pressure on it. Because y'all stuck together right now. So no matter how great the defense played, we can't even talk about it because we squeezing points out.
Yeah, but see, you can't say the defense played great, bro. If you want to be called great, you got to finish that out.
Man,
Great,
21 points
great
against
defense
the team.
finish that game out.
We beat Vegas. Not only did we beat Vegas.
I don't care nothing about beating
Wait a minute.
Vegas. That comes with the territory.
Wait a minute. Vegas usually right, but we not only beat Vegas, but on top of that, we stopped the team that's going to score 56 points a game for the rest of the season.
That's because they're in the Big Ten.
Man, that's hard to do.
Yeah, that's hard to do. They're still in the Big Ten. Did you see Iowa?
I don't give no credit to little 10 teams. That's terrible. But we felt like Iowa milking the clock.
Defense
On the 37.
Man, look. I see our guy Charlie White's last belt loop talked about the defense being tired. Look here, man. I don't want to hear that.
It's the first game of the season. What are you
They
tired?
rotated the heck out of that defensive line in the first half. We saw Isaiah Foskey on the sideline for multiple series. I don't want to hear that. They weren't winded. Bo Bauer being winded had nothing to do with him blowing a tackle 2 yards in the backfield on Travion Henderson on that last drive. That wasn't winded. That was just bad tackling. Bad linebacker play. Guys not getting off blocks. Bad linebacker play. Has nothing to do with being winded. Nothing. So we're not about to throw that excuse out there as bait on the reel. We're not doing that. Go watch the game. The starters got plenty of rest by design to be ready to go in the fourth quarter and make key plays. They didn't make the plays. Period. They didn't make the plays. And you can't be great unless you make plays in the fourth quarter. You can't. So I don't care about Vegas. I told people for months, if you put money on Ohio State, you're falling for the okie doke.
Oh, for sure.
If you really thought 17.5 was going to happen, something's wrong with you. You don't value your money.
You don't value your money.
Yeah, I'm still looking for Brad Powers. He tried to lure me into a bet, and I'm just not a betting man.
They even put
part of
Keely even showed up.
Part of me wishes that I had bet him just to get my money. and I'll leave it up to you, bro. When you hold C.J. Stroud to under 250 yards as a secondary,
we should win.
hey, wait a minute. Look, listen to this, bro. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't sit up here and say, analysts, Ohio State fans, Notre Dame fans, you can't sit up and say, I'm worried about our secondary. The offense is so potent. And then all of a sudden, that same offense isn't potent because of one player. You can't have it that way.
Can't have it.
You can't sit up. Well, Smith and Jigba was hurt. No.
I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I don't.
Got 5-star receivers all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place.
All over the place.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, yeah.
And Buka, who scored the touchdown on Cam Hart? He made a play in the first half.
Julian Fleming, all them boys.
Harding, number 9, the freshman.
All them guys, yeah.
You got all these receivers. Dude, you can't. No, you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to talk about how much offensive talent and firepower they have.
No.
And then, because one player went out, all of a sudden that same firepower and all the expectations that everybody had that they were going to put up 40 points on Notre Dame with ease. Now you want to say, well, our main guy was hurt. I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear that. Because y'all supposed to have people flying all over the place, catching one hand, scoring touchdowns and dunking on all of our players. We supposed to have no chance. We will have no chance.
People talk. Now they're naming names. Fleming and this person didn't play. No. Y'all don't have nothing. Holly Rose said y'all have nothing but talent. Just nothing but everywhere.
Talent. Everywhere. 50, 60
everywhere.
Points y'all finna score.
When Jigba left the field, they had 2 5-star receivers on the field. 2 5-stars.
We had Braden Lindsey.
2 5-stars. I don't care if 3 receivers were hurt. You have 2 5-star receivers that Ohio State fans, the national media, and Notre Dame fans said we're going to kill Notre Dame.
With 17 and a half with these receivers. Not receivers.
And the freshman, wait a minute. Who said, wait a minute. Right? Who pointed out Alabama last year and tried to explain to people football is not that easy. You don't just write guys on the depth chart and say they're going to produce. That's not the way it happens.
That's not the way it happens.
Who told you that? We told you the only proven commodity was in Jigba Smith. We told you that. We said Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't have a large sample.
They're not Chris Olave and Gary.
He doesn't have a large sample size. But you just assume that they're going to come out and both put up 100 yards like they're Chris Olave and Gary Wilson.
It don't work like that.
And didn't we talk about the time and aspect with them being first-time starters? Did we not say C.J. Stroud is going to struggle with timing with those guys? It's a first-time big game for them, just like it was a first-time big game for Tyler Buckner. Didn't we say that? And we tried to help you out. If you were better, we tried to tell you, no, it's not going to go like that. That's not how football works.
Not how football works.
But everybody, Notre Dame fans were scared. Oh, my God. We're going to have to score for at least 35 points to be in the game. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. Matter of fact, Malik told you last week, I'll be shocked if Ohio State gets to 28.
I literally said that. And everybody called me crazy.
Called you crazy.
Talk about, oh, you just da-da-da-da-da. It was true. Yep. I wasn't lying.
Yep.
They scored worse than what I expected. And I expected low. So what? That's why you tune in to get the real information. When you hear something from this podcast and it sound a little iffy and you ain't heard it before, it's because we know something. We know something. We're good at our jobs.
And we're not scared to be wrong.
And
we'll admit when we're wrong. Yeah, I didn't expect the offensive line for Notre Dame not to be ineffective.
Yeah, I thought we was going to be more aggressive. I thought that was going to trickle down to the offense and Tommy Rees, inspire the man to play amongst his. I mean, I'm not even saying that because he threw the ball 60 times. We had 500 yards of offense.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about? Why did you do that, Tommy? Why did you do that? That's the question. The last game you played, Tommy, was 500 yards, Tommy. 60 passes, Tommy. That's the last game you played. And you night and day difference. That's why we don't have an identity.
181 yards total rushing for Ohio State. 85 of those yards came in the fourth quarter. I just wanted to point that out. Right? So it doesn't matter that you did a fantastic job shutting down the run, holding their passing down for 3 quarters. When it was time to put up a shut up, you gave up 85 yards rushing in a quarter. You extrapolate that out over 4 quarters, that's 340 yards. That's unacceptable. That's not a great defense. That's not how you finish games. Can't do it. Can't do it.
That's right.
Can't hold the team to under 100 yards rushing through 3 quarters and then just
give it up like that.
Just give it up. You can't do it. You can't do it. But they did. You, my friend, went through the same experience. Your first road start was on the road against Virginia after actually winning your first start at home against Texas. Talk to LL Nation and everybody that's watching about what Tyler Buchner went through and just your overall impressions and how you think he's going to progress throughout the season.
Well, so far, I don't think it's going to get any harder. I think the O-line is going to get better as the season goes on. Going into my first start of the season, I knew what we had, but I also knew what we had because I've been preparing with the guys outside of practice, outside of meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a different relationship when it came to situations in the game where we like, all right, this ain't working. We need to do what we do what we practice outside of this. Same thing I say with all these quarterbacks that go to these quarterback coaches and don't train outside of that. You become a mold and handcuff yourself. No creativity. Can't if it don't working on the board, you inoperable outside of that. So I think that's what made me different than the other quarterbacks during the time that I was there, is that I put in a lot of work when we wasn't at practice, even though there's a lot of time to do that too. That is underrated, but that's what it meant to me. But it also showed in how I played. Everybody touched the football. 7 different receivers touched the ball in all the times I played. So that goes beyond what this whole self-development thing is. So when I went into the Virginia game and the Texas game, there was no way I felt like we was going to lose because I'm throwing it deep. Me and Will already knew what was up.
That was the problem with you. You were a different breed, right?
I'm throwing it.
Coach Kelly would tell you to hand the ball off, and you would just be like, man, I'm throwing it.
I'm throwing it to Will. Who is Tyler saying that for? Tyler's saying, I got to do this read. And then if I don't see it, run. Because that's what Tommy tell me to do.
Well, Lorenzo is his roommate.
Lorenzo. And
he pulled the ball on the first play of the game. He pulled the ball when he saw the blitz and threw it to Lorenzo. That's his roommate.
He threw what the play was called for. Because that would be your boy if he got more than 2 receptions. Let's just be all the way 100. Tyler wasn't thinking about his boy then. He was thinking about the system. Because if that's your boy and you live with him and he's the fastest thing smoking on the team, I'm at least giving you 8 receptions because I like you.
Yeah.
I'm going to just be like, all right, no matter what we running, hey, get open, bro. We sleep in the same room for camp. You my guy, I'm trying to get you to the league. That was my thing with the other guys. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get you to the league, CJ, bro. We got to do this thing together, bro.
Yeah.
Will Fuller, bro. I'm trying to get you to the league. So I didn't care what the play was. I'm like, look, Will's press. Oh, it's over. And then Deshaun started doing it, and then we had a good season. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, I would say Ev had that too. Ev was gonna throw that thing deep because Ev can throw, man. Ev was Ev wasn't scared to let it go. So I think the scarier it went, Ian's got scared. He was scary to throw. Brandon, they was on him so much, he was throwing too much. It felt like.
Right. Right.
And then everything after that just been scary, 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 scary. So we gotta get out of that.
Yeah, there's so much. I want to get your thoughts on this too, because I saw this. There's so much placed on the offensive line. Like, the offensive line has to play well. Like, every big game, the offensive line has to play well. The offensive line has to play well. Look, man, you going up against good teams, you're not about to dominate for 60 minutes.
The offensive line didn't play well in the Fiesta Bowl, and we had 500 yards of offense. We had Kane Madden out there getting 500. So I'm not hearing that, Tommy. The offensive line is fine. But if you're not throwing the ball any time past 20 yards, that's a lot of pressure for anybody. We making superstars out there. I ain't never heard of Mike Hall before until that game.
Well, he was lined up over Josh Love most of the night. I mean,
I
don't know if there is a Kane Madden curse at the right guard right now that we need to pray about, but there's something going on at the right guard position for Notre Dame it's specifically in pass pro. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like a turnstile. No toe, just man. Here you go.
Yeah, it's terrible. So
and
the unfortunate thing about everything is that moving forward until the next big game, all this stuff won't matter because we'll just be left saying, why didn't we do that at Ohio State?
Yeah.
We're not going into any other game the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman won't say this for the rest of the year that we milking the clock and we happy with punting it.
Yeah.
He won't say that for the rest of the year, which is like, that's the point.
Yeah.
You're supposed to treat the rest of the year like this game too.
Yeah.
You're not happy. You're not going to be happy if we milk the clock and punt against Marshall.
No, dude. I'm not happy if I'm playing Madden. I'm not happy punting.
Yeah. So why are you?
No one is pleased with punting. Who's pleased as a fan of any fan base? Who's happy when they see their team punt? No.
That ain't no. You're not fooling me with the whole. That's the smart, thing to do because that's strategic and that's what the numbers say. Blah blah. No. This ain't about numbers. This is about playmaking.
Yeah.
It's just a shame, Marcus Freeman. You're gonna look back on the first game in week 10 and be like, I went into one of the biggest games of the season,
right?
Saying we're gonna milk the clock and punt when I'm out here smacking teams around, starting fast and finishing and talking about how we all cylinders and stuff, and we got all these plays and putting up all these numbers. Why was I like that the first game?
Yeah, and it's like, look, you have Miles Murphy and Breeze coming up. Like, you're going to face some more really good players on the defensive line. At least make them work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with great players making plays. They have good players. We didn't hear Zach Harris's name all night. So Joe Alt did his job. He did his job at left tackle. But come on, man. These interior guys, we saw plays where guys came across their face and they didn't get touched. We saw we saw TE stunts with just simple communication. I saw him work on it in practice. You can't have that. Like, at least compete. Force a guy to beat you. Like you beat me. Cool. But when I just miss an assignment consistently and just give you a freeway to the quarterback, you can't have that. Not as a top program. Maybe other teams can afford to do that, but you can't do that as Notre Dame. If you're going to get beat, get beat. That's just competition. If Mike Hall whips your butt, he whips your butt. But man, you missed the assignment? Let him just go straight to the quarterback? Those are the plays you can't have.
Yeah.
Compete. He beats you, come back and beat him. He beats you again, come back and beat him. Compete, man. And I saw the defensive side of the ball compete their butts off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and it's too many, look, both sides. Whether you're a Notre Dame fan or Ohio State fan, we don't want to hear that if. We're not playing that if game. If this, then this. If that, the final score is
State
what
just
it is.
proved that they are a corny fan base.
The game went
they
the way it
wait till they win. They wait. They won't say nothing when they scared. They we'll wait till the end. Wait till the end. Now they don't win the game. They want to front run and talk about how they knew it and how I'm so such a clown.
That's a totally different energy than they had.
Totally different energy.
Different energy than they had. They argued with you for 2 days about how cold the Big Ten was, how tough the Big Ten was. They argued with you about not worrying about Notre Dame and how they were going to put up 40 points and be dancing and celebrating.
I'm crazy for thinking that we got a chance. And
that was the energy. That was the true energy. That was the real energy. Now they've been reduced to, see, we won. That's all that matters. No, that wasn't the energy.
Yeah. Y'all was talking about 50 point. Y'all,
we had the energy.
Stop.
You might not want to admit it, but that wasn't your energy.
Yeah, now you want to still tweet me like, trying to replay my tweets were true.
So look, we stand on the Big Ten is Huff. We stand on that until proven otherwise. And based upon what I saw week 1, heck, I'm an Illinois guy. I watched Illinois, Indiana on Friday night. Bad football, bro. Bad football, bro. Bad. Lucky Lefty podcast. What do you think about Al Golden's call?
I think he wanted to get out of the half with something that made a splash. And truthfully, I can't blame the man who's been doing really well all game, showing CJ different looks, giving him a chance to reconsider, some of the reads where he'll have a lot of those reads throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
He made him go through his reads and made him challenge him and sacked him a couple times. And I think, when you're hitting on all cylinders like that, you're gonna have a play where you get a little risky.
Yeah,
because you're just so desperate in getting them off the field because they're so close to changing the momentum of the game. So I think it's one of the things where they caught us trying to get set into it, and we were too slow getting to it, and then he caught us with the cadence and got us. But I do think the call had intent behind it, that we're not just calling this to call this.
I'll say this. Marcus Freeman, because tomorrow's show, we'll be back in the morning tomorrow. This is our holiday show. Coach Leak had practiced with his team earlier today, and that's why we're doing this in the afternoon. We'll be back with you 10:30 a.m. Central Time, as always, tomorrow morning. And we'll talk about Marcus Freeman and what he said to the media today and start forecasting the Marshall game. But it was just really interesting to hear him say, just to give you a snippet of what he said today, bro, that they did call. Al Golden called the fire blitz in that situation. It's just so ironic that Tariq Bracy gets hurt the play before. Tariq Bracy goes down. They come out. and you're saying to yourself, man, Al Golden, your best defensive back is injured, and you want to go to a double fire right now, or third and 11? That's what you want to do instead of giving up the field goal and keeping it a 10-10 game? That just shows you, once again, the amount of confidence that they have in Jaden Mickey.
100%.
He said Al Golden asked the entire coaching staff, yo, what do you guys think about this? I've been saving this all game. What about this right here? And Marcus Freeman and the staff said, let's roll with it. And it didn't matter to them that Tariq Bracy was out. They felt very confident with Jaden Mickey, and they said, let's go. He said Jaden Mickey played the wrong technique. He should have played outside influence, meaning, yo, you have no safety help. Don't let him to the inside, force him to the outside. And when he played the wrong technique, he put himself in position. And regardless of the technique, then in execution, you can't turn around. You have to be able to just flip your hips and run either way. He got turned around. That put him a full step and a half behind the receiver. Touchdown, pretty easy throw for C.J. Stroud. It was an easy throw because, look, the timing of the blitz was horrible. Like both safeties, our boy Ramon and Brandon Jones.
It was such an obvious throw.
Oh, man.
He had all day to make it. He saw it clear as day.
It was a really good route. He stemmed him to the outside, turned Mickey around. If Mickey had been playing the right way, he would have just let him stem outside because he would have been playing him with inside technique, and it would have been taken away. But because he started out with outside technique, that set him up. Touchdown. Touchdown. And that turned the game. You know, Notre Dame is in the same situation.
Right.
They come down, they're in 3rd and 11, and we're running quarterback sneaks. In Ohio State territory. That's, you know, that just goes to the mindset. And it goes to the difference between guys that know each other from California. You know, you can tell by the way they shared a moment after the game. CJ and Tyler were talking to each other. Yo, he's the better player. He's the better player. That's all you can say. He's the better player.
CJ was the better player in the Elite 11.
He's the better player, man.
CJ was the better player in the Elite 11. He won the MVP in the Elite 11. Tyler was there. He didn't win the MVP.
Yeah.
And look at you, what you see.
Yeah. And I'm with you, K-Mac. I'm with you. I saw the safeties coming up on the blitz and let out a no.
It was so obvious.
I did the same thing. I'm like, for what? For what? Hold them to a field goal. Like at 3rd and 11, man, drop 8, tackle, kick the field goal. He already missed one.
He already missed one.
He already missed a short field goal. Here.
Easy.
Kick a pressure kick. Force him to kick a pressure kick. But, you know, the mentality, look, I can rock with that. You know why I can rock with that?
That's who we are.
He was being aggressive.
Yeah, that's who we are.
He was being aggressive. He was going for the kid.
And not only was he aggressive, he was doing it all game. And guess what? They got 21 points out of it. They got 21 points out of it. I bet you ain't no other Big Ten team is going to be aggressive. I bet you ain't no other big team is there going to send no double safety.
Penn State has been aggressive with Ohio State in their defense.
Oh, yeah, they've been aggressive.
They've been aggressive. Penn State is always competing.
But they ain't holding Ohio State to no
problems. So I expect Penn State.
They're not holding them to those 21 points.
No, Penn State's definitely not scoring.
They're not holding them.
No, but I expect Penn State to be in the game with Ohio State because they've been there whether it was the Chase Young era or the Bosa era, Penn State has always been able to hang around and play physical football at Ohio State and give them good games. I'll say this. Michigan has a lot of playmakers, bro.
We do.
They have a lot of little guys that can do a lot of things. And Eric All is still there. You know, they get Wilson back, who had a nice touchdown. You know, I'm not sure. Look, we know C.J. Stroud is better than Cade McNamara.
Yes.
So if it's a close game in the fourth, you probably roll with C.J. Stroud. But
Every time.
last year, McNamara had that dominant defense and pass rush. I don't know if he's going to have that this year. And the game is going to be at Ohio State. So it's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, Notre Dame has a chance to run the table. The schedule lightens up. We anticipated North Carolina being competitive, but the way they've looked defensively,
we might score 21 points.
Yeah. 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 And, you know, I see people in the chat making silly comments like, dude, it doesn't matter who you play. Talent is talent. See, this is what I've seen A.J. Henning, large sample. I've seen Blake Corum, large sample. They lost Blake Corum last year early, and they still were able to run the ball with Haskins. Wilson comes back. He was a big play guy last year. I've seen him large sample. I know what he's going to do. I know what A.J. Henning's going to do. I know what Blake Corum's going to do. So I don't have to sit up here and guess. They have a large sample size. So it doesn't matter if they play Colorado State. They've done it against other Big Ten teams.
Yeah.
The only question is Cade McNamara or J.J. McCarthy. That's it. That's the only question. That's the only question, right? The blessing, and I'm so happy because I love the kid. Like, I love Jackson Smith and Jigba. Love him. Yeah. Love that dude.
Yeah.
I am extremely happy that it's only 2 to 3 weeks. Because when they started talking about back of the knee during the broadcast, like it's something back of the knee, possibly hamstring, I'm like, man, I'm not like this. Like, I don't want him to go out like this.
Man, he might as well just take all the time he needs. They're not going to be needed until the end of the season.
Until Penn State?
Yeah. He can take load management like Kawhi, come back for the playoffs.
Facts. And, you know, and I'm pulling for, you know, J.J. McCarthy. That's the Chicago kid.
Yep.
I'm always going to pull for the Chicago kid.
Shout out Julian Love becoming a Giants captain.
That was huge. And shout out to everybody that made the roster, made the 53, that got cut and got called back to the practice squad. I think it's 49 guys, if I'm not mistaken, made rosters. So shout out to the 49 Notre Dame players that will be showing up for opening weekend this weekend.
Shout out to Ian Book keeping the Notre Dame in the conversation in the NFL quarterbacks with the Eagles.
Yeah. What was up with – look, man, if Brandon Joseph isn't going to return kicks, don't put him back there.
Yeah. I don't get that.
I'm tired of this fair catch you stuff, man. I'm tired of it. If you don't want him to get hurt, put somebody back there that can make some plays.
And not Salerno.
Yeah. And Brian Mason.
We got to cut that out.
Yo, you're under the microscope week 2. Special teams was kind of huff. Game 1.
Kind
of huff. Blake Groupie made his field goal. I love the kickoffs because they were consistently going into the end zone, unlike the Jonathan Dorr era. But that fair catch you stuff has to go. Has to go, man. has to go. And we love everybody that joined us in the chat today. We welcome all fans from all fan bases. Right? I forget the name. He was a fan of the Buckeyes. Maybe he came in late, but we started the show with what we pretty much started the show with the things that we got wrong. Like, yo, we thought this would happen and this would happen. It didn't go that way. Like we said, we're willing to speak truth. And if we're wrong, or speak facts, and if they're wrong, we tell you. But it's a lot that happened on Saturday night that we said was going to happen.
And this also makes the point that what we say on here has no effect in the game.
That's what people
we say on here. Yeah.
We don't line up.
Like,
we don't line up. People take so many things that's said on podcasts, not just our podcast, just podcast period, to heart. Like, you said this, like we controlled. If I could control it, I would have had CJ Stroud playing trash in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, like what? I would have been like, CJ gonna play terrible, and then he'd listen to me or something. But
Facts.
I'm all the way in LA. I didn't call no plays. I didn't call no defense or nothing. So they should have listened more, if anything. Got Styles the ball more.
Yeah. I know one thing. All of the goofies that wanted to put their money on Ohio State, we tried to tell you.
Try to tell you.
We tried to tell you. That's not happening. Hey, bro. It's been a great show, great weekend. Everybody stay safe. Even if you go out tonight, man, for the holiday, make it back safe. Make it back safe. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, petty stories of the day. Someone said it did something. Brought to you by Nora Whisky at NoraWhisky.com, that premium American whiskey at NoraWhisky.com. I saw somebody in the chat said, you all are the ones screaming into cameras. Look, do we really want to get into this? Because we can really break down how many Ohio State podcasts spent the last month screaming, attacking certain people personally, and then getting mad when they got punched back in the mouth. And Ohio State fans jumping up and down like, why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? That's what bullies do. They don't like getting punched back. So we can talk about the number of Ohio State podcasts that were screaming and ended up being wrong on Saturday night. But we digress. The Big Ten, petty train, Huff. And everyone that tweeted how competitive the Big Ten is. Huff. Brian Kelly, for so many reasons. Huff. Petty train.
Just a rich man with a fake accent.
Brian Polian. We told you he was a terrible special teams coach. 2 block kicks. Huff. Petty train.
Yes, very.
Super Huff. Right?
Super trash.
And all the teams that played FCS schools or lower division schools and felt like they needed to run up the score. Huff. North Carolina's defense.
Super Huff.
Huff. Yeah. Anybody else you got on the petty trade?
We covered it. Brian Kelly, we won that game last year against that same team.
Well, Malone, he had better players last year.
True.
Maybe he doesn't think that. Well, when you have better players that make plays in big time moments like Michael Mayer, I felt bad for their tight end though, because that was a heck of a play he made. He just couldn't get out of bounds.
Just couldn't get out of bounds.
Just couldn't get out, and they ended up, scoring a touchdown anyway. But I thought that was a very, very athletic play by their young tight end. So yeah, and Brian Kelly lost, but I'm too focused on Notre Dame. I don't give a darn.
Yeah.
Like he lost, okay. We lost too. We had the same record. I'm not happy. Shout out to all. I have to put you on the petty train. Drake Bowen, who in the fourth quarter of last night's game tweeted out, "I can't wait to get to Notre Dame where we have the resources to win."
Facts. All those resources.
Great.
Use. Well, you didn't buy a
Also,
you punt. Okay.
Florida State offensive guard, former Notre Dame offensive guard, Dylan Gibbons, after the game, said there's no funny accents in our locker room. Thought that was perfect. Well played. Well played, Dylan Gibbons. Well played, my man. Super petty. We gotta put you on the petty train. Yeah. But and shout out to ESPN. But I still have to put you on the petty train because you talked trash for a month. And then you tried to come on, get up and first take this morning, giving Notre Dame love. Nah.
Yeah.
No.
We reject it.
No.
Send it back.
Nope. We don't want it. Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Keep it. Any final takeaways other than the fact that Alabama and Georgia are pretty darn good?
Yep. Look like they're gonna be back. And we're gonna be on the outside looking in with an 11-2 record.
It's oh man, bro. We get to watch Clemson tonight. I expect their defense to dominate. It's going to be interesting to see if DJ has improved at the quarterback position and he can hold off your boy Cade Klubnik longer than 4 or 5 games. And yes, I'm glad. Thank you for bringing this up, Spark. ESPN, they don't know who Harry Heastand is. They're showing love to Harry Heastand while showing Matt Bayless on the sideline. That's not
the disrespect.
Mad petty. Mad petty. So I'm trying. Did anything else drop? I mean, your boy Caleb Williams put on the show, but they played Rice. They didn't play anybody. Shout out, Anthony Richardson. He balled. I gotta give it to him. He balled against Utah. That was a tough matchup. Really good game. Really good game. And then the Cincinnati-Arkansas game was a really good game too. Cincinnati, they too many mistakes. Like when you go on the road against a big-time opponent, just can't make the simple mistakes. You can't. And yeah. Sean Paulus, you're right, man. They had a rough night.
That was petty. Hey, that was petty. He definitely said pig.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what happens when you throw in the players that you not expecting to be your main targets. So,
hey man, lock in, share, like, notification bell. You know what time it is. Lucky Lefty Podcast at SD2 Mics, at Malik Zaire 8 on Twitter, at Lucky Lefty Pod, at Locked On Irish. You know how we do. Oh, I had one starred. Let's see. Oh, we did that one. We did that one. So, from Malik, Zaire, I'm Shaun Davis. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Normal time, 10:30 a.m. right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. Have a great rest of your evening. But most of all, make sure you spend it different.